Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Stokastic Fantasy Football channel. My name is Matt Savoca, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Nick Lepri, Nicky Football, at Notorious FNTSY. We're talking flex rankings, we're talking Q&A. We got all the time to answer your questions today as we dig into week 3. We got one game in the books, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland came away with a pretty easy victory. But before we dig into anything, what's up, man? How are you? Happy Friday.
I'm doing great on this wonderful Friday. I honestly forgot that it was Friday. Had the game had not been played last night, I just forget what day it is now
You
during
do,
football
man.
season.
You like really forget. Like I had sometimes like have a momentary lapse, but you legit are like, okay, what day? I just follow the schedule. You gotta,
Yeah, I have no idea what day
you
it
gotta
is. That's
stop
what always
believing this
happens.
man.
Yeah, it's great though, honestly. Like then you just don't know it's Friday, and now it's a pleasant surprise. Like after the game ends, it's like, oh, it's Friday now.
Yeah, and it's true. Like we do kind of work on the NFL schedule, so our days are all messed up. But it's yeah, it was a nice Thursday night. Nice is a weird way of putting it. It was a strange Thursday night game. We got some fantasy goodness out of it, and we thought we'd try out something just a little bit different. We're still going to be spending the entire 45 minutes we have today going through all of your start sit questions, but we wanted to keep things more visually interesting. And with the help of the Stokastic Fantasy Football projections and rankings, and of course, Nick over here helping us out with the graphics part, we're going to make things more visually interesting. Just throw some tiers of our flex rankings. Again, the whole point of tiers is that the projection from a floor, median, and ceiling projection is about the same for all these players. And so that's why we put them in groups. We know that they're not going to perform exactly the same, but it's still a worthwhile exercise as we get into things for week 3. Here is tier 1. Nick, if you want to point out any players that are surprising, I think we do have a couple. Actually, this might be the end of tier 1. If there's anything surprising that you see or don't see on this list, I'd like to hear that first.
Yeah, I mean, Alvin Kamara up at 6 is slightly surprising. Now, it does seem as though he's going to play from what I have read, but I am at least somewhat concerned. Now, again, I'm not in full panic mode on Alvin Kamara, but it was kind of concerning the week 1 game out of Alvin Kamara. Like, he just didn't have the correct usage. Now, again, they had Taysom Hill do good in that game, right? So maybe you could just negate everything that I said, but I am a little bit worried about Alvin Kamara. And then I also think I would probably just have all of the receivers ranked ahead of these running backs because if I'm being honest with you, the running backs right now, last week was like the worst week I've ever seen out of running backs in a while. I forgot which running back it was. I was talking about it in the running back video, but like they scored less points in week 2 compared to week 1, and they finished 12 spots higher. So it's just crazy how bad running backs were last week.
I think this trend is going to settle, if that makes sense. I think we're going to see a situation where ultimately the wide receivers probably are going to outscore the running backs. Like the wide receiver 3 will outscore the running back 3. The wide receiver 4 will outscore the running back 4. But it's not going to be as drastic, like 10-point differential on a per game basis that we've
Yeah.
seen right now. Yeah, I already see some questions pouring in. Regretting drafting Najee at 109. You see, I'm not totally sure you should feel super regretful because you picked Najee Harris for a floor aspect, right? You were getting 10 to 15 points every single time he steps onto the field. His 20-point upside was very different. You had to go get that in other rounds, no?
Yeah, I mean, and also I was kind of worried about Najee going into tonight. Now I feel a lot more comfortable with him. Like he looked significantly better last night than he did in week 1 and 2. So I'm pretty confident with him. And I think that if they go to Kenny Pickett, which at this point just seems inevitable, right? Like Mitch Trubisky, I saw a graphic of where he throws the football. I think he threw the football in the middle of the field once last night.
It was hilarious. I think it was ESPN's Mina Kimes who retweeted it, and I saw it, and it was the next gen stats of like basically if he rolls left, he he's Zoolander. He can't turn left because if he turns left, he literally there's nowhere to throw it because he couldn't throw it to the left sideline. He couldn't throw it to the middle of the field. I think he made one completion from the right hash mark all the way over to the left. Like it was ridiculous, and Mike Tomlin, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, immediately comes in and says, definitively not making a quarterback change.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay. Donnie
Yeah.
Bravo, how you feeling about Kelsey and Chubb with the Dalvin, Kelsey, Chubb in your first 3 picks? Wow. Chubb falling to the 3rd round? Dang. Must be feeling
Yeah.
good right now.
Yeah, that's great. Chubb has been playing fantastic. Not as boring as I previously perceived. Much better player. I always knew he was a good player, though. I just
Oh
didn't think he
yeah.
would be this good.
Hey, Nathan Joyce. What's up, man? Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Nathan Joyce helping out in the editorial department all the time here. Yeah, hope you're recovering well, my friend, and happy to see you in chat. What's up, guys? What's the latest on Gabe Davis? Well, what did he say? He's 100%. Here, let me pull this on chat from Nick
Yeah.
Jackson. What's up, guys? What's the latest on Gabe Davis? He says 100% optimistic is what he said, right?
Yeah, and then I saw a video of him, and he doesn't look 100%, but he's probably going to end up playing. I would be shocked if he didn't. This is a very important game for the Buffalo Bills, so I would think he would play. And like, if he didn't get banged up last Saturday, he probably would have played right in the game. So I think that he's going to be perfectly fine to play on Sunday. Again, do I expect that ceiling game out of him when he's banged up like this? No, but I do think he's pretty safe because he's a great player on one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL. So I would roll out Gabe Davis even on his peg leg potentially.
What did you just say?
On his peg
Um,
leg, he's a pirate.
yeah,
Arr.
I always gotta, you keep me on my toes with these comments, but you start Gabe Davis if he plays.
Yeah,
Players are honestly way more optimistic about their injury status than their bodies tend to actually let them be.
of
So
course.
100% optimistic was kind of a funny way of him putting it. I like to see Saquon Barkley in the top 12. If you drafted him in the 2nd round, you're feeling pretty good about this right now. Derrick Henry at 2, man. That's bold for me.
Yeah, it's very bold. I mean, it's not that Derrick Henry isn't a good player. Like, he still has it in him,
Of
but
course.
this Tennessee Titans offense is quite concerning as a whole. Ryan Tannehill does not look good. The offense seems to have taken a drastic leap in the opposite direction. Maybe A.J. Brown really did help that team a lot, right? Maybe A.J. Brown is the reason why Tannehill has looked so good. Treylon Burks looks good, but this offense is no bueno, as they say. So I'm pretty nervous about Derrick Henry. I would definitely have him ranked nowhere near the top 12.
Yeah. No, did you say nowhere near the top 12 or nowhere near the top 20?
No, top 12.
I think I had okay. I think I had him top 15 in my flex ranking still, but we're at
Okay.
yellow flag. Maybe it's red after this week. Dominic, you're all sleeping on Swift. Just should be above Kamara and Henry. That's an argument you can absolutely make. And remember, this is all one tier. So really, I've actually considered just shuffling the names in here because it really. We think Jonathan Taylor is going to do better than Saquon Barkley, but not so significantly different that we want to put them in different tiers. The median and ceiling for those players, when you run the slate 100, 1,000 times, isn't so different that we can group these players together. So we think Swift is in the elite tier along with Kamara and Henry. And we were just making the case that some of these veteran running backs might belong at the bottom of the tier rather than the top. So kind of agree with you there, but just want to make sure I clarify that point. Let's move on to tier 2 here. And we're hanging out with all Miso, what's up, man? I've seen you in chat before. Thanks for hanging out this fine Friday. I got Godwin and Gallup waiting to come back, so hopefully things will start to pick up thereafter. I have Gallup in a lot of rosters, and I think especially with Dalton Schultz dealing with that knee injury, not practicing, I don't care how close to 100% he is. They need him. They can't just have CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown if Schultz can't go.
Yeah, and didn't you see the thing that Mike McCarthy said? He's like, Gallup will not play close to 70 snaps a game. And then it like came out that like the Cowboys have played like 63 offensive snaps a game or something like that. It's like, Mike McCarthy, man, you're a real idiot. But at the end of the day, I am definitely not giving up on Godwin or Gallup. I think Godwin really has top 5 potential when he comes back.
Yeah, I have high hopes, much higher hopes, obviously, when Dak Prescott returns. Donnie asks, also, should I keep Chubb or try to get Swift? Dalvin is RB1, thinking of offering Chubb and Gabe Davis for... no, hold. Chubb's playing phenomenally well in an offense that needs him to play well in order to succeed. Brissett's been okay, but Chubb is the engine in that offense.
Yeah, now imagine how good Chubb's going to be in the playoffs when they have a quarterback that is better. Now, again, Jacoby Brissett actually does look good. It's very shocking to see what Jacoby Brissett was in Miami compared to right now. In Miami, he was awful. He literally is the reason why we lost a bunch of games. But now in Cleveland, he's a new man. He looks great. I even watched the whole Amazon thing afterwards, and he was so good that Ocho Cinco increased his Madden rating by 2 points. So, congrats to Jacoby Brissett. I definitely would not do that trade. I agree.
That's not how it works, right? Ocho
No, it
Cinco
is. Ocho Cinco is the Madden Raider. He's in the game. Like when you get if you play like My Player or whatever it's called, and you play good, like you get a clip of Ocho Cinco being like, "Great job, man. We're up in your rankings."
Look, if I could do anything and just like make money off of it, I would be one of those Madden rage accounts and just yell at what a terrible game that is.
I
I
agree.
want a simulation football game so badly, and what we have is
It's terrible.
is not what I gotta hold my tongue. All right, sorry, tangent. Keep Chubb. He's playing great. He's literally RB1 overall potential. You don't need to trade for it. You might literally have it. Tier two is including a ton of players that I'm not surprised to see, but I think Mike Evans should be gone since he's literally not on the slate. I don't know why he's in our projections right now. I'll definitely message the team there. And Marquise Brown is the one that really surprises me.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown is interesting because he's had back-to-back games where he's getting targeted. He's had back-to-back weeks where he's open. He scored a touchdown last week that wasn't a touchdown because his ass touched the ground on the half-yard line. So, yeah, if I'm being honest with you, I think that Hollywood Brown is a good player. He just hasn't put up the numbers, and it's concerning because we keep getting closer and closer and closer to the fact that DeAndre Hopkins is going to return. And the reason why I personally liked Hollywood Brown in the draft is because I thought, oh, Hollywood Brown's going to have 6 big games. Then D Hop comes back. Maybe he's good, maybe he isn't. But in half PPR, Hollywood Brown has been wide receiver 26 and 38 in back to back weeks. He saw 11 targets last week, which is good. I'm so comfortable playing him, but I'm not as excited as overall player 22.
Yeah, I kind of agree all around there. Deebo Samuel is a player I want to highlight who now has the same exact upside and potential that he had last season. Just more passing and rushing opportunities can be factored in. Marquise Brown is a player that I'm hoping has bigger things ahead, but I think Zach Ertz is going to be involved here. We'll say it again. I just want to make sure, and we can move on because you're starting all these players in your lineup pretty quickly. But yes, Mike Evans is suspended. Do not start him. Sorry to have him up there in the rankings. Just move everybody up one notch. Yeah, so we can move on to tier 3, just for that sake. And we included where we would have put Nick Chubb and Najee Harris in here, just for context for you guys. Keenan Allen is another one. We're really waiting injury concerns, which means that I think Mike Williams at 31 is a little bit low. He's a player that I would love to have on rosters right now, especially going against a Jaguars team that I think maybe can push the tempo offensively so we can get some shootouts here. The only issue really is the Los Angeles defense being so good. I like Mike Williams this week.
Yeah, I like Mike Williams a ton as well. Herbert being banged up is also kind of concerning, right? We saw Herbert throw that absolute missile at the end of the game, but if I'm being honest with you, that seemed like I don't know. I don't even know. It seemed fake almost, the fact that he was able to do that. Like he couldn't run 3 feet for the first down, but then could launch the ball 50 yards down the field. It was impressive. But yeah, I agree. If Keenan Allen doesn't play, Mike Williams should be significantly higher. And even if Keenan Allen plays, I would bump up Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams is in a really good spot weekly. He is a very high ceiling player. His floor is not very high, right? He's one of those guys that the floor might be the fucking basement. But at the end of the day, when he has that big game, he's soaring for your team.
So I think the floor might be different this year. Traditionally, you are 100% right about Mike Williams, but I think it might be different this year with him being able to be just kind of that player peppered with targets where he could finish a half at like 4 catches on 5 targets for 45 yards. And you're not feeling great about it, but you know he's just a touchdown away from a 10-point week. And he's 3 classic Mike Williams contested catches away from a 15, 20-point week. So to me, that is the start of opportunity, floor, and ceiling. I know I'm just bringing you hypotheticals in here, and you're probably starting him if you got it. The same with all these players. But I do think that Williams is a different kind of player in this offense this year, especially with Allen a little bit older, dealing with a soft tissue injury, and he's a player that relies on agility and quickness. They're gonna ease him in. They need Mike Williams, and honestly, Joshua Palmer as a what the heck flex to play well in this offense. Leonard Fournette, I'm starting with confidence. DJ Moore, yeah, against the Saints, I got to roll with it, but it's not fun. Antonio Gibson is one where the opportunity is there. He's one we've talked about. I think you're trying to trade him, especially if he has a solid week 3, right?
Yeah, it seems like Brian Robinson is going to come back. Now, again, is it going to be week 4? Probably not, right? I would think maybe week 5, 6, 7, something like that. But when he comes back, like, he's going to be involved. Like, I wouldn't think that Antonio Gibson, it's not like Antonio Gibson is putting up crazy numbers. I think if he was playing, like, say, like, one of the best running backs in the league, then maybe you would say, you know what, Riverboat Ron's going to give him the chance. He's playing good. He's playing fantasy flex worthy, RB2 worthy in some games, and he has upside. But if he's not blowing Riverboat Ron away, then why would they go ahead and just ride with him when it was pretty clear that Brian Robinson was going to be the dude, the guy for the team a couple of weeks ago? So I think they are going to move back to Brian Robinson. So if I have Antonio Gibson, ride him out for this week. But next week, I would definitely look to try to make a trade as quickly as possible. Now, again, I'm not going to just trade him for nothing because I think that his value is going to decrease because there's also a chance Brian Robinson comes back and he's not the same for a bunch of weeks because he's banged up. He got shot. So, again, I don't know what the recovery looks like for that. But at the end of the day, I've seen him running and he looks normal. So I am definitely concerned about Gibson going forward. Again, not this week, though.
Okay, so I want to play this game with you. I played it yesterday where we take Gibson and we say, what kind of player are we trying to get up to? Would you do Gibson for Brandon Cooks?
Yeah.
You want Cooks. Would you do Gibson for Curtis Samuel?
I don't think so, no.
You want Gibson. Okay. Gibson for, I bet you want Mike Williams?
Yeah, definitely.
How about Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah.
Okay. One more. Adam Thielen.
No.
Okay.
I like Thielen a lot, but I'm not in red flag like you would say. I'm in yellow flag, but it's starting to turn from yellow to like orange. I think that's in between yellow and red. It's getting kind of scary for Thielen.
So you're looking for someone in that wide receiver 15 range rest of season. It sounds like, or running back 15 or higher that you feel more confident in. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if you'll be able to get that, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, you might have to package it with some sort of prospect who hasn't hit yet or something like that.
Yeah, like right now, real quick, I would probably do Hunt for Gibson. Again, I don't love Hunt, but I think like you could talk yourself into Hunt being really good.
I understand where you're coming from too, because you have a significantly higher floor rest of season. I get that. I get that. There's some ceiling in there that you're losing out with. Well, no, you're not, because we've already seen 2 touchdown games from Hunt. All right. I think that's the right way to look at it. Anyone else you want to highlight here other than AJ Brown is going to be in that tier 1 real soon?
Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr., even though the Indianapolis Colts came out flat, they came out flat. They played the whole game flat. They finished flat. They scored 0 fucking points. So obviously that was not a good game out of them. They're playing up against the Jaguars. This isn't the Saxonville Jaguars. This is just the Jaguars, and you can't even score a point. Michael Pittman obviously is a big part of that offense. So don't worry about Michael Pittman. He's going to be fine. But if you're Matt Ryan, you should be stressing mightily right now because not only are you done after this year, your coach is probably done in a couple of weeks if you lose.
They might all get fired like this week if they look like that again. Let's get to some questions here. I see some friendly faces in here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's a good weekend. It's a good Friday. I'm feeling good. Hans Clue says, "Are we feeling Drake London over DJ Moore this week? Full PPR."
I would play more. I agree with you. I don't think you can play London over Moore just yet. Now, again, the problem with DJ Moore is not that he's a bad player. The problem is that the team, just for some reason, Matt Rule is just an idiot. Like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Matt Rule seems like an incompetent head coach. He should go coach fucking Nebraska or whatever in college football, or maybe Notre Dame because they're going to fire. Or who's that coach that keeps choking? What team is that? I don't watch college football, but whoever that is, that guy needs to be fired as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I would start DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is just a decent player every single week, and he has a lot of upside if he scores. And then if the Panthers miraculously figure it out, he could be a top 10 receiver weekly.
You know what, Nick? Drake London is neck and neck in our projections with Moore this week.
Uh-huh.
And it might be a little bit because of the matchup against Seattle. The defense doesn't scare you. It's a low total game, but I actually think you could make a case for Drake London. The safer pick is DJ Moore. You broke it down well. So Brandon says, so I have Adams as my wide receiver 1 and Ayuk as wide receiver 2. Who do you think I could legitimately target pairing Ayuk with? Think
in a trade.
So you want to target, you want to pair Ayuk with either Etienne, Stevenson, or A-Rob and get something in the upper tier. Okay. I think Michael Pittman might be someone you should try to go for. Certainly Mike Williams. If you believe in Christian Kirk going forward, I think that he is a solid one to go for because he doesn't have that brand name that you have to pay for at this point.
Yeah.
If you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown or something like that, yes, absolutely. You're probably not getting him after a 30-point game. He'll probably have to have a dud for you to be able to get him. What about someone like Keenan Allen?
Yeah, I would do that, but I don't know who in the right mind is accepting Ayuk and ETN for one of those guys, right? I know I would.
A-Rob for Allen, I think someone would do that this year with Allen's soft tissue injury. I think that's a trade I could see going down.
Okay, well, I definitely would not accept that if I was the person that with Keenan Allen, but I guess so. Yeah, definitely you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to trade A-Rob as well because ETN's value right now is in the shitter, as they would say. So I would go A-Rob and Ayuk and trade for Mike Williams, Michael Thomas. I think some people might not be super excited about Brandon Cooks as well because Brandon Cooks is just like the definition of safety. And then if you have someone who's worried about like a Terry McLaurin like player or a Rashad Bateman like player, I think you should be looking for those guys too.
Okay, so you're okay getting like if you take Ayuk and Stevenson, you would go down for. I actually like that Ayuk and Stevenson for Terry McLaurin. That's a nifty little trade. Okay, I like that.
I also think you can rely on A-Rob if you keep him. Like I think A-Rob's going to be pretty good this year.
Me too. We were high on him to begin with. Had a disastrous week 1, came back week 2 against the Falcons. I think he'll be just fine. Joseph asked, Miles Sanders or Daryl Henderson today. Which RB should I keep long term? Sanders for me. I just like the quality of the offense and the clarity of his opportunity within it. Henderson still has Cam Akers to deal with, although the efficiency numbers since Akers came back from the injury have been like bad, like scary bad.
Yeah, Akers doesn't look good, but they do want to give him the ball. Like that's very evident. So I would definitely rather have Sanders. Sanders is also not in the most crystal clear situation now, right? Week 1, Gainwell scores, Scott scores, and Sanders scores, but I definitely would rather have Sanders than Henderson.
Me too. Drake London or Gabe Davis rest of season? It's Gabe Davis for me by a nose, just because of the quality of the offense. Like 4 touchdown upside every single time Gabe Davis and his team steps onto the field. Not for Davis specifically, but when you have 4 passing touchdowns to go around, you have more chances to catch one each week.
Yeah, I'd go with Gabe Davis as well. I think Drake London might be. Spock brought this up yesterday in my stream last night. Some crazy ass stats. Like this guy is seeing the craziest amount of target share I've ever seen out of a receiver, like through 2 games, like of a guy of Drake London's caliber. So I think that could go down, if I'm being honest with you. And again, I don't think Drake London's a bad player. So I'm slightly worried about Drake London. I think he's gonna be fine, but I definitely would want Gabe Davis. And to me, it's not even close.
Okay. I think it's closer than it appears. Sammy Telesco, what's up, man? The Buffalo War Pigs always hanging out here, and he gives a shout out to our boy Nathan Joyce as well. Thank you so much for being here. It's a good day to talk football. Should I start Carson Wentz or Justin Herbert? You're starting Herbert if he goes. That's simple. He's on another level as a passer right now. He's one of the best passers in the NFL.
Yeah, you have to start Herbert, man. The guy he could give his rib to Eve, like in Adam and Eve, the story or the Bible thing. I don't know where you read that, but yeah, Justin Herbert, go with him.
Oh man, so wise, learned, and knowledgeable. Nicky Football, one of a kind. Follow him at Notorious FNTSY if you don't already. I'm at Draftaholic if you want to follow my ridiculous antics on Twitter as well. But yeah, we're talking about ribs and the creation of man, as we thought we would be at 10:30 this morning. We're starting Justin Herbert if he plays the year of our Lord 2022. Do you think Jeudy is a true wide receiver one? I have Diggs, Pittman, Hollywood, and Garrett Wilson. Will I ever play Jeudy? Okay, this is a situation where when he gets healthy and he has a game, you trade him. You have a great core of wide receivers, and you hit on Wilson. You hit on Garrett Wilson, especially with Joe Flacco at the helm. So I do think you could package Jeudy and maybe Wilson for another stud wideout and just ride that the rest of the season. What do you say, Nick?
Yeah. Do you consider Garrett Wilson to be a hit? Because I think that he is right now with Flacco, but I'm not too sure he's going to be a smash play weekly like right now when Zach Wilson comes back, because Zach Wilson might just like Elijah Moore more. He might want to throw the ball more to him. And I'm kind of worried about that. I also think Flacco might be better right now than Zach Wilson is, which might be a crazy take. But I don't know. I'm just not sold that Garrett Wilson was a smash like that. He's locked in to be this all year, because when a quarterback change happens, shit could go out the window,
I would consider packaging Jeudy and Wilson in a trade if you can. And let's switch over to the next tier of flex players, by the way, as we're talking about this. Yeah, lots of familiar faces. And I do think Garrett Wilson getting 8 red zone targets and 5 end zone targets, both are tied or alone at number 1 in the NFL right now, is signal. It's 2 weeks. There's variance for wide receivers. It goes up and down in terms of scoring. We get it. But that is clear opportunity in parts of the field where it's hard to get open. That matters to me. And just the target volume is enough where I'm saying, yeah, he's probably good. So I honestly want to hold Garrett Wilson if I'm being honest. But if you can get an absolute superstar by packaging a player like Jeudy, he's really frustrating in fantasy football. I think he's a really good player. It's really tough because he sits there with the questionable tag. You're not even sure if you can start him. He can't go on your IR spot if you have one of those. And so it's in this situation where you're like, okay, he's basically just clogging up a roster spot. I think he's a good player. It's a tough situation for fantasy players. And so I would try to package it with Wilson for a top 12 wideout.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Anyone you want to highlight in this tier right now? Yeah, Thielen is the one that scares me the most.
Yeah, so does McLaurin for me, to be honest with you. McLaurin has been good for fantasy purposes, but he's not really seeing the targets. Like, you would have thought that you would see him getting, 10 potential targets a game. Now, last week he got 8 targets, which was solid, but week 1, only 4 targets. So, again, I'm just a little bit worried about McLaurin. He's finished as wide receiver 25 and 37 in the last 2 weeks in half PPR. So, again, he's not, screwing your team over. But he's not being the McLaurin that I personally would have. If I drafted McLaurin, I would think he'd be doing much better than he is right now. I'm not in full panic mode, but I would have him ranked lower. And then another player I'm really concerned about is Kyle Pitts. Now I know, the matchup's so good against Seattle. Doesn't matter what the matchup is if Mariota just doesn't throw him the ball. So it's a little concerning for me personally. Again, I'm not running away from Pitts. I'm not trading him for Evan Ingram or something, but I am worried. But I have told a lot of people to trade for Kyle Pitts, because the trade offers that people are getting, it's like, would you trade Curtis Samuel for Kyle Pitts? Of course you would, right? That makes perfect sense. But I am worried about Kyle Pitts. Kind of the long way to say that.
On the other side, I mean, obviously it was a kind of a once in a lifetime performance from the Miami Dolphins at the second half. Maybe not. I hope it's more halves like that. But even with Tyreek Hill going completely berserk in that second half, Jalen Waddle looks like he is going to be a fixture in the top 50 of flex rankings for the rest of the season. Obviously, he won't catch 2 touchdowns every time, won't have such an insane fantasy score. But anyone who is concerned about a wide receiver 1 coming in and kind of stealing his lunch, that's not happening. Waddle looks like a huge part of this offense and just looks great with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, he looks amazing. If the Dolphins win again, I will do the waddle dance on Twitter like I did last week. I was hitting the waddle. That dance is so fire, so I'm going to do that yet again if we win. Someone asked me to hit the waddle yesterday on stream, but I didn't feel like standing up and like knocking the green screen over, so I did hit the gritty. So I did the gritty, but I was just rolling around on the chair hitting the gritty. It was a good dance.
We got to
well,
get the chair gritty, the roly
chair,
gritty.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I invented it. Yeah. But Stephen Hawking did it first, though. But Jalen Waddle is in a really good spot this week and going forward. So I'm pretty excited about Jalen Waddle. I talked about a lot in the offseason that they can both be top 10 receivers in fantasy on the same team. People didn't believe me, but we've seen what happened.
Yeah, you did. You did. Hey, Max. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Happy you're here. Hope your week 3 is starting out well. If you got any questions, of course, hit us up. Caden asks, start 2, Pittman, Christian Kirk, Cortland Sutton. You're in a great situation, man. You're starting Christian Kirk. Like, this dude is a wide receiver 1 right now, but he's the one that scares me the most because of the matchup. That's sort of how I feel. Pittman is the one I'll plug my nose and keep on the bench.
Okay, so you're going to play Sutton and Kirk?
I think so.
Okay, I'd go Kirk and Pittman. But it is close. I mean, Sutton looks like he's in a good spot. The matchup does a little bit more concerning. I don't think Pittman's matchup is as concerning. It's just the fact that Matt Ryan looks like terrible.
We have them all ranked right now in our half PPR ranks between wide receiver 13 and 20.
Yeah.
Very, very, very close in our latest run of projections. 13, 16, 20. You have a good core, but getting to 2 of them, that's another situation where I might want to trade for 1 so I get some more clarity, but make sure you get a stud player because, you know, you're losing that bench depth, which is important as well. Gabe Davis and Henderson for Deebo Samuel. You doing that, Nick?
Yeah, I'm doing that. Because I honestly, again, I do believe that Cam Akers is going to Cam Akers is going to be more involved. Now, again, how good is he going to be? Is he going to be as efficient? I don't think so. But are they going to give him the ball? We saw it last week. They want to give him the ball. Henderson's still a worthy starter. I'd have Henderson right now. If I had to play someone this week, I'm playing Henderson over Cam Akers. But I think if we're sitting here 4 weeks from now, maybe they're on bye or something. I don't know. But 4 weeks from now, imagine that they have a game. I think Akers could outscore Henderson pretty handily. And Gabe Davis, while I think he's good, I don't think Gabe Davis has the same safety Deebo Samuel has with the exact same upside, especially now without Trey Lance. Now, I would prefer, obviously, for all my fantasy teams that drafted Trey Lance, I'd prefer to have Trey Lance, but Deebo Samuel's in a good spot with Jimmy.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I agree. Pick 4 to start: Chase, Gabe Davis, Bateman, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson.
I'll go Chase, Bateman, Gabe Davis. I still like DJ Moore better than Garrett Wilson. But if you want to go Garrett Wilson, you can. We'll go Garrett Wilson, Bateman, Gabe Davis, Chase.
I actually think this is a situation where you might bench Garrett Wilson. Like, you've got some stud players. Gabe Davis is actually the one that scares me just because of injury concerns. But Bateman, especially with Duvernay likely out this week with concussion. DJ Moore, too, is like the Lattimore is still there. It's not the same situation as like Evans versus Lattimore or anything like that.
They're going to fight.
They're not going to fight. Probably not. Benching Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Sad.
All right.
Go ahead.
One question I saw in the chat was about Zeke. Hans said that Zeke is very high in the rankings. Yeah, I agree with you. Zeke is way too high in my opinion. I think Zeke still has it in him, but because like the team wants to commit to Zeke, right? So Zeke's gonna get the ball. I can fucking guarantee you that because Mike McCarthy, the Kool-Aid man, wants to give him the ball. So does Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones talks about how Zeke is a main piece in this offense. The problem is Zeke isn't the Zeke from 3 years ago. Zeke is now a different version of himself. He's like Eddie Lacy after eating a bunch of Chinese food, right? He just doesn't run very effectively. So I think Ezekiel Elliott is way too high. In my opinion, I would definitely bump him down a significant amount. And someone said, should I start Zeke over Jeff Wilson? I would start Jeff Wilson over
I
Zeke.
think I would too.
Easily.
Yeah, I would too. Um, uh, I'm trying to look too and make sure that like we have the most updated version of this as we get. This is the first time we've done flex rankings, and so just getting the data feed in to the visuals. We're getting rolling here with new stuff. Always innovating here, but we'll get it right. And I want to make sure because I'm looking at our start sit rankings now, and Jeff Wilson is above Zeke Elliott, like 10 points above Zeke Elliott in running back rankings. So I just want to make sure that our data feed gets corrected here. We can just always get these tiers together. It's still important. Remember, we're just grouping players together. We're still in the you're probably starting all these players category unless you're in a slightly smaller league. We can move to the next one as well. Appreciate you too, Hans. Thanks for hanging out, man. Keenan Allen or Michael Thomas, Pitts or Kittle, Nick?
Kittle and Thomas.
Yep. Oh, Kittle and Thomas? Pitts and Thomas for me. I still believe Kittle is still hurt.
Okay. I mean, Kittle, again, peg like Kittle might also be better than Pitts at this point because Pitts just isn't getting the targets. It's very concerning. Very concerning.
Yeah. I just think I think we're still in the small sample trap for Kyle Pitts. I still think it'll happen. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I think it'll happen too. I would say I think Kittle's just safer and they have pretty similar upside.
Makes sense. All right. Now Rondo. See, I think we have like something wrong with the feed that I gave you. That's on me because we don't have Kadarius Tony here. I'm looking at the start sit ranks right here. We just don't have them there. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown way higher. We actually had him before. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch it over to this. Boing. We're just gonna take your questions because I don't want to tell you the wrong things here because I'm looking at it and we have Amon-Ra St. Brown as wide receiver 9. So he's not in that part. That's on me from the data feed. And if you want to check out all of these rankings, by the way, the correct rankings, I should say, you should go over to stochastic.com. We have a couple of awesome offers for you right now. First of all, I know a lot of us watching today are mainly fantasy football players, and you might know that Stokastic made our bread and butter on premium DFS projections, helping people win literally millions of dollars, like our founder, Alex Baker, our CFO, Steve the Colts Buzzard, so many more. And you can get in on the action 2 different ways right now. If you're a new user, you can get a 3-day free trial of all of our premium tools. And I like to bring this up every single Friday because it is a great time to do it. You get the main slate, obviously. You get all of our premium tools for the main slate, the lineup generator, the lineup builder, the player compare tool, the stat projections for all platforms, and you get Showdown for Sunday and Monday as well, all free. And then if you want to get in on the action for just the primetime slates for a whole week, so you get Sunday night, you get next Thursday as well, Monday night, of course. You can use promo code PRIMETIME, all one word, PRIMETIME. That gets you $1 access to all of our Showdown single game specific premium tools to help you in there. It's a lot of fun, just those one game slates. Even yesterday's slate was really fun from a DFS perspective. So get in on the action over there. One thing I've said many times on these streams already is that we've taken the same kind of care that we've done for years at Stokastic for our premium professional DFS players. And we've taken that care and moved it to players who are entering 5 lineups, maybe even less, 1 to 20 lineups. We have so many more tools available to you guys, making it more accessible every single week and day. Awesome time to get in on the action over there. Okay. Brave asks, need help. Or he says need help. London, Cordero Patterson, and James Conner struggling with which 3 to start. Wait, those are 3. You start those 3. Right?
2, maybe?
Which 2 to start? Okay, let's just say which 2 to start because that these are only 3 players.
Yeah, I would start Patterson and Conner.
I would start Patterson in London. I don't trust Conner. I don't think he's healthy.
Okay, well, again, that's kind of one of those where you want to wait until Sunday, right? You want to know more because on Sunday, normally they reveal like, oh, is he actually good or is he not? Normally, I feel like I have a better read on Sunday compared to Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye on the injury wire. And also, Nick, you'll be back Sunday, noon Eastern, noon Eastern, talking all the start sit questions you need. We'll have much more clarity about this specific question, Brave, at that time. Chubb, I don't think you can ever say Chubb stole a TD last night. The man just is built to score, built to produce points on the ground.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb is awesome. Miso asks, do I go Dortch, ETN, Sterling, and flex a half PPR? Leaning towards Dortch. Thanks from England. Oh, man. All the way over. Across the pond.
Yeah, I would go with Dortch. ETN, what a struggle that has been. Really, really shocking that he is not good at all. Like, the fact that he was spooked to catch the ball was enough to make me very scared. So I'm going Dortch.
Really, this offense, I don't think Rondale Moore plays again.
No,
So I think they need Dortch once again to play a whole lot of snaps. Man, I cannot believe I'm saying Greg Dortch over Travis Etienne in week 3 of fantasy football. Wild game we play. All right, we got about 2 minutes remaining. Thanks all of you for hanging out. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys know what to do. And also the notification bell so that you know when we're going live. All the stuff, all the Thursday night chats, all the Sunday morning chats, and of course, all the weekly 10 a.m. Eastern start sit questions where we go through our rankings and tiers over at stochastic.com. Jalen Warren looked better than Harris. Man, I've got some family out in Pittsburgh who has been saying the same thing, that on a per touch basis, they think he could actually do more. Now, this is just an eye test thing. The analytics actually say Najee has been the most elusive he's ever been. He just plays on a cruddy offense is my read on the situation.
Yeah, and also Mike Tomlin has proven a zillion times over that he is not a 2 running back system guy. Like, Warren's going to play, but it's going to be Harris, and unless they fully commit to Warren, Warren is not going to be useful at all, really, for fantasy. Unless Najee gets hurt, of course. You're muted, Matt.
Let's go rapid fire here so we can get to all of these. Sorry there. Thielen or Juju, point per first down.
Juju.
It's Juju for me. Point per first down, it's just multiply the targets you think they're going to get times 0.4, and you can get a good estimation in case you need that. In case you don't have that in your projections from, whatever place you're looking at. Ramondre Stevenson or Chase Edmonds as an RB2.
I would go with Edmonds because I think Edmonds at least has some more receiving upside, and I could see him being more involved. Again, there's going to be a high-scoring game, you hope, at least as a Dolphins fan, I think. So I'd go Edmonds.
Edmonds by a nose. We have them literally next to each other in our current rankings. If Gabe Davis doesn't go, should I flex Ayuk or Damian Harris? I would have A-Rob and Dotson starting. Evans is your wide receiver 1. And we thank you, Donnie Bravo. If he doesn't go,
Harris.
Ayuk for me. Ayuk.
I'd go Harris.
Okay. Interesting. All right. That looks like we got all the way down. Thielen. Oh, wait. Thielen is in your waiver wire. Oh, pick up Thielen.
Who's Allen? You can't drop like Allen Lazard. Not Allen Lazard. Oh, yeah. Allen Lazard. That's a lizard emoji.
So you would Thielen or Lazard for you? Keep Lazard?
No, I'd pick up Thielen. I didn't know which Allen it was. I thought he was talking about maybe like Keenan Allen or something, but then I realized there was a lizard emoji.
I think this is very clever. I really like this. I'm very pleased by this Rees Delete Gaming. Guys, that's going to do it for the Friday Flex Rankings and question and answer session. We got so much going on for you over at the Stokastic Fantasy Football channel. Of course, we got Sunday, the live chat with Nicky Football himself, the notorious Fantasy Hour, getting you ready for the Sunday games. And then we're back every Tuesday through Friday with all of these good live streams. Nick, tell the people where they can find you other than those streams, because there's plenty that you're doing this season.
Sir, check on out here. Obviously, make sure you're here at 10 a.m. every single day, Tuesday through Friday. Our Tuesday stream normally has the most amount of people. For some reason, people decide not to show up on Friday, but it is what it is, right? People have actual lives, unlike us, who we have to talk about football all day.
Lives?
Fucking losers, right? Obviously. Like the people who didn't watch yesterday's game because it was going to be low scoring. Then Amari Cooper shits on all your dreams. But yeah, make sure you check out The stream's here 10 a.m. every single day, Tuesday through Friday. The Thursday stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the Sunday stream, I think, starts at 11:30. I could be wrong. I thought it was 11. And then last week it was 11:30. It's probably 11:30 again, I think, off the top of my head. But make sure you stop by there. There's a lot of people. We always have a fun time talking before the game. And that's really where the best information is given, because the most information has been given to me by the inactives and all that. And the best decisions can be made once you know all those things. Except for like when I irrationally tell people to start like some random player because someone's hurt. Like last week, Mark Ingram, I thought was going to have a big game potentially. Obviously didn't work, but the process was sound there at least. So thank you guys for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, that subscribe button on the way out. And make sure you guys check out Underdog Fantasy as well. The drafts on there are fun.
They are really fun. Thanks for that shout out, Nick. Yeah, check out the banner up above. Promo code Stokastic. Get in the action. The Best Ball Resurrection Tournament. Really fun stuff there. Starting in week 6, $10 entry gets you $100K, and promo code Stokastic gets you a first match deposit bonus. We will be back soon enough on Sunday. Thanks so much for hanging out. He's Nick Lepri at Notorious FNTSY. I'm Matt Savoca at Draftaholic. We will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.